Welcome to the Big Biz Show. Taking care of business. You want fast-talking, hard-hitting discussions on business and finance? Maybe with a barroom slant and some really salty peanuts? We're not counting calories. We're counting cash. Before we get to the man with the financial plan, meet the money team. Costa, Mary, and Greg. Now Captain Finance himself, Sully.
And a big old howdy to you, wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening. It's the Big Biz Show live from the Loft 100 studios. Hope you're having a great day. Costa, Mary Godwin, Greg Todorov. Of course, Captain Finance right there.
Hey, let's not forget the DTT. What's up, boys? DTT used to be
go.
Can we?
DT Qual.
DT Qual is going to come pretty soon.
Okay.
Look who's here.
Howard. Oh, hi, Paloy.
It's Howie Font. What are you doing?
It's always so pleasant before the beatings and everything. You're nice to me before the show starts. Everyone's laughing. What?
Oh boy. First of all, give me a market update. Is there a reason that the market is ignoring all the bad news in the world? I mean, it's amazing to me.
Listen, they can call anything priced in. It's
That's so true.
The president trips and falls. It's priced in. It's fine.
Well, they do say most news is baked into the market ahead of time, which I believe. Right. You know, there's the buy in the rumor, sell in the news thing. But man, and if you don't think we're in a global economy, boy, today will tell you, or this week will tell you, especially with what's going on. We've been talking about with Japan and China. But man, I just am so interested in finding out why in the world Mary paid $6 for gas. Yet inflation's down.
It's brutal. It was almost $6. Yeah.
Weren't you about gas this morning also? Or
probably.
Was this what you ate?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody needs to tell the chickens that inflation's going down.
Look, Mike Costa's here.
Hello.
Hello there, big fella.
Ooh, a lot.
I thought you wore a green sweater to match the color of your face.
Yeah. Looking a little pale.
Much better. Much better. Thank you.
hardly inflated, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow. Speaking of inflation.
Did I shame you into a new watch band?
You did.
Okay. So
It's new.
It's a white one.
Oh.
This was white last week. No, and truth be told, my son and I went shopping, and he said, "You need a new watch band." I go, "Yeah," and I held up mine. He's all, "Oh."
Yeah.
So yeah.
And he tried to get it off, and it was like, tried to peel it off. Howie, I understand you are on a rampage about ignoring small periodic spending habits, like Mike's habit of getting a Slim Jim, a bag of Funyuns, and a Red Bull on the way every day, which costs about $9.
Yeah, but what's the harm? I mean, come on.
What's the harm? What's the harm of this? It could be a serious mistake that can cost you a fortune, you say. It's only a few bucks. What are you talking about?
No. Nothing's ever a few bucks. We were talking about this the last time I was on, and I wanted to spend more time on it. I mean, colloquially. I love that word.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Colloquialisms.
Latte factors is what they're popularized as. But it's the things you really don't need to spend, or a little bit of effort. ATM fees, silly.
Unconscious spending.
Yeah, exactly.
Unconscious. There we go.
Yeah.
There's a chart you put together.
So this is perfect. I mean, if you have $5, we'll just take the first row.
An extra $5.
An extra $5 that you could be saving a day.
Okay.
Your Starbucks habit. You make the coffee at home instead of at Starbucks.
Right.
Look at how much you're saving. $1,800 a year. Wow. Invest that. And look how much it is. I mean, that's a very expensive coffee.
Invested for 40 years at 5%, that's the latte.
Yeah.
So if you invest at age 20, instead of buying lattes, invest that $5 into the stock market by the time you're 60 at a 5% return. And that would be a horrible return.
Yeah.
You're talking about 230. So what I'm going to do here in a second is I want to go through and let's talk about superfluous unconscious spending among the group.
I got a lot of them.
Do you really?
Well, I'm just thinking Instacart was something I started to do during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And
yes.
But sometimes listen, wait a second. I have an answer for that.
Okay.
Because I don't necessarily going to beat everybody up on Instacart. Because I know you and I know what you do for a living. When you're outside of here and you're running several things for this place, I would argue that there's a good excuse for you having Instacart. You who surf and hang out here.
But that's the right logic.
He's just trying to get out of the house.
Thank you.
Oh my
You
God.
have to value
I sometimes
how much
spend
time
2
is.
hours
And
at the
not
grocery
just
store.
your time.
I'll give you a hint. Okay. Sometimes your time is more valuable than your money. Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com. We'll see you in a minute.
continue live from the Loft 100 studios. It is the Big Biz Show. In over 175 countries, all the ships at sea on the American Forces Network. Shout out, as always, to the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Costa, Mary Bird Godwin, Greg Todorov, and Sully.
Great to have you on. We're talking about unconscious spending, otherwise known as the latte factor. And that, what is that again, Howie? Give me an example of you said ATM fees and buying a cup of coffee a day or Red Bull and Funyuns.
Exactly, we were talking
Bako
about
Bits. You have Bako Bits in the glove box, don't you?
Instacart fees.
Yeah,
They're so good.
But Bako Bits
fees
are not good.
Yeah.
I eat them
I like everything you like. I like everything you like. Okay, I like mayo for dipping. I understand. But Bako Bits feel like the stuff they pack Amazon stuff in.
I eat them like shelled. I eat them like shelled sunflower seeds.
Did you really? So Mary, I want to go around and talk about unconscious spending, and Mary said something about Instacart.
Instacart and DoorDash are two things I do because I am busy. My kids are busy. I don't have time to make their lunches sometimes, so I DoorDash their dinner to the dance studio sometimes.
How much? So you pay?
There's lots.
Is there a
fees.
premium on DoorDash?
Yeah, there's fees.
Is
Yeah.
it just a tip?
No,
there's
there's also an actual fee. Yeah, for sure.
And I use a certain.
I'm gonna Instacart something.
Plus, if you're doing it during surge time where everybody's ordering dinner,
surge time.
Costco
Yes.
as well.
No kidding.
Oh yeah.
Like every time is
Allegedly.
time for you. I want to say the reason I think it's okay for you to do Instacart, for example, which is basically grocery shopping delivery to you.
Sure.
Okay, and you pay a premium for that. I see you pay a premium for that. And the reason it's good is because you not having to take 20 minutes to drive to the store, 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the store. Let's say it's 5 minutes to the store. Okay, it's 45 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
Where you make a call. Now, is that extra $10 you spend on a $50 grocery bill, let's say, I don't know if it's 20% more, but let's say it's at a $60 grocery bill, is that $10 worth more to you than the time that you're saving? I think that it
ebbs and flows, but there are some times when I have to do the Instacart. I certainly don't have the time.
Such a
Other
good
times
point
I
about
think
ebbs and flows, by
I'm
the
just on the couch and watching Netflix. I probably could have gone to the grocery store.
Yep.
So
That's the test.
which basically gets you off the couch.
Yeah.
It's not about the money at that
It's the
point.
blood flowing.
right. Gets me steps on
Exercise.
my fitness app.
I have the greatest. Have you ever an espresso at home or a Keurig?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's the greatest thing.
For sure.
If you like, I mean, they really are as good as anything you could get.
Without a doubt.
I mean,
So
because
inexpensive.
I got the one with the milk thing on the side,
Yep.
with the thing, and you hit it, and you can pick the thing, whether it's a ristretto or a lasagna or a cappuccino or whatever. It's like I feel like George Jetson.
It totally is.
Right, and you can literally pour a little bit of milk in the thing, put it there, do that, come back, and it's all done.
But if you do that, who's going to misspell your name on the side of the cup? I mean,
Okay, so
Sally.
I'm just saying.
people that spell their name, my name is Sarah with a H.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's S-A-R-A-H-Y.
Michael, it's Mike with a Y.
And to say, as long as you're talking about this, that bugs me. Barry says, hey, everybody, Barry got to do that. Barry got to do that. Shut up. You're not on stage. Just give me my cup.
I agree.
But my thing is, I tend to get up and do a surf check. I make coffee in the morning.
Okay.
Do a surf check and stop on the way back at a coffee place just because I'm used to stopping there.
Oh.
Now,
What do you
all
do?
right.
What do you get? You
Get another coffee.
You get an additional coffee.
And then I tip them.
Okay.
That's $7 or $8
Right.
every single day for no reason other than I'm just used to it.
Well, and as busy as you are, that we all know you are.
But I'm not busy.
But I'm saying
Not
that's
that time of day.
like 10 minutes where that adds up there, kid.
Yeah,
Well-
the second coffee, I don't know if that might qualify as to your latte experience.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
What is your guilty pleasure? Do you have one?
Perfect Foods bars. Yes.
Oh, you just had a $7.
Right, exactly.
James,
$7.
James,
No,
he's-
they're nuts.
Okay.
I've told him a million times not to exaggerate.
James, you're a perfect food bar guy.
Pretty good.
You introduced me to those things. Yeah. Are you still down there? What is your deal? I know your thing is buying sweets for everybody else. James doesn't eat
Yes.
sugar.
He's a
doesn't
pusher.
eat meat, yet he buys me a
pusher.
roast beef sandwich and a jelly donut
Such
every
a
freaking
pusher.
Well, my buddy wants to come in and do sushi for everybody. So
Okay. All right.
you guys
Good. Is that
I like that.
your guilty pleasure?
I like that.
Do you even have a guilty pleasure for you? Because I know that you invest every nickel you have.
Yeah, I'm pretty tight.
Parsimonious?
I mean, in the city, it's pretty negligent of me, I think, to do an Instacart or delivery because they're.
Don't you live over a grocery store? or a liquor store?
Right. Within a 2-block walk, there's so much. But I'll get lazy every once in a while, and the guilt I have from that, I kind of like the guy. In,
As a single young man, you
Code.
can't
This is
justify
the same guy.
Instacart. I'm
This
sorry.
is the same guy.
Sorry. Not to mention, grocery stores are a pretty good place to go.
Did
as
I
a
ever tell you
single
the
young
story
man.
that Howie told us about the fact when he
Allegedly.
was moving from one apartment to another, he carried his mattress.
Attaboy.
How many blocks?
COVID was a time, 40.
40 blocks.
What?
No, you did not.
No, because he's saved himself $30.
Was it a futon or like a
He's gonna
full-blown
throw it on
mattress?
top of the taxi.
From 89th Street to 66th.
Yeah.
Well, how big was the mattress? I gotta know how big the mattress was.
Queen size.
Well, it was.
I don't know.
It was a full, and
Full-
it
full-
was Tempur-Pedic, so it had a little bend to it. I put it on top of my head, and I walked in the bike lane on a Friday.
I need pics of that.
in downtown
No
Manhattan.
video?
Unbelievable.
And by the way, nobody even turned their head.
Of course not.
Of course not.
You are saying-
Boy, today's sure is boring.
I kid you about Funyuns and Bacon Bits, but
No, it is.
Are you
It
a
is.
7-Eleven? Like when you go get gas, you gotta walk inside.
Yeah, I'm going in to get a drink.
Oh, I found my guilty pleasure. Oh my God.
Another one is Costco, but it's not inside. If I go to Costco religiously, I'm having a hot dog or a piece of
Okay.
pizza.
Yeah.
That's just unfair. Like
The
those
food
hot dogs.
court.
And you know what? And I don't eat that much meat at all anymore. But I've got to tell you something, man. Those hot dogs at Costco. Have you looked inside of an industrial sausage press, Mike? But still, those
Lips and a-holes, as we say.
Those are. Here's my thing. There is one. Okay. I am Howie. I drove Howie in today.
Okay.
How many phone calls did I make on the way?
By the way, thank you for putting on the little vest and everything as a chauffeur.
Yeah. Put him in the back.
Yeah.
Flip the light on. How many phone calls did I make on the way here in our 20-minute drive?
6, 7. I mean, yeah.
This is me all day, and this is how I work. And I like doing it from the car because I feel like I'm pacing. I'm driving, and no, I do. I just feel like, okay, this is better. I don't like sitting in an office talking. It makes me crazy because I'll stand up and start pacing. There are 2 full-service gas stations in my radius.
Yeah.
Now, what are you paying for a gallon of gas? 6?
$5.80.
Yeah.
Something like
I'm willing to pay the 7 to sit there and just be on the phone.
Oh, really?
But I don't drive very far though.
But look at that chart.
Bring that chart up again, Jack.
when you invest it, now you're talking your second coffee, the
Okay,
tip,
so
you're
let's-
paying
let's-
$1
let's-
extra.
let's go-
He's up to $20 a day.
No, 25.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
You're giving up $1
It's
million.
$1 million.
It's $1 million
No, there's more than that. You're shooting a 5% return.
That is
When's the last time we had a
stunning.
5% return?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, our average returns, even over the last 40 quarters, has got to be, that's 10 years, has got to be, that's 7.5 at least.
Here's what we should do. You should give me $1 million, and I'll
There we go.
cash to you.
Problem
And then
solved.
we'll split the winnings.
I think the question here is, can you avoid some of these regular spending? You mentioned you had more. Do you have more than that, or is it just Instacart and DoorDash? Or are these other things that just like...
There's just fees. I mean, going through, Hulu, Netflix, all the different things I have there. I have to every few months go in and say, where am I spending? Because I will sign up for a free thing to watch
Apple.
a show. And then
If someone will create a service for me that will do a number of things. Number one, so this is my new thing every morning. You know how many apps you have on your phone? Hundreds of apps, right?
Yeah.
You have them organized little boxes. I am now going through one box a day and resolving the apps I don't recognize or don't use anymore. Like so in the in the lifestyle app where you have like DoorDash and Instacart.
Yeah.
I also have Sinopolis or whatever. Or
Decluttering.
eBay. Yeah, decluttering. If there was a service that would come and declutter my photographs or organize my photographs into a pile, and then also at the same time
Yeah.
declutter all of the apps at the same time, and then also declutter the people in my life.
Well, you get, but you get.
Well, speaking of, I want to know about.
Okay, Mike, let's go.
Calling.com.
We're gone, you guys.
There's an app called Rocket.
I have Rocket.
Money. Do you?
What is Rocket?
Yeah,
goes
Rocket
through-
shows you each month what your credit cards are attached to and what you are spending as far as Hulu's and the Apple Pays.
Does it work,
because
and do you
it'll
be done.
suggest it?
right?
Yeah.
Do you suggest it?
Yeah, it has saved me because then it says do you want to cancel
Oh, Rocket?
this? And you're all yes.
And they
go-
have.
they cancel it all.
Makes me nervous.
Wait,
that
is
you
it
have
an
to-
app called Rocket?
Rocket
Yeah.
Mortgage. I think it's
Rocket Money.
Mortgage. Or
Rocket
Money.
Rocket Money.
So
So Howie, here's my question: is that there's got to be stuff you're not going to avoid ATM fees, okay? People have to go to the ATM,
Yep.
or you're saying, or do they?
Yeah, I'm saying, or do they? I think you can do more. We all have to be more conscious constantly. I joke, but I'm a victim of it too. It's very hard to do, but the opportunity cost.
Is this like buying generic, for example?
buying generic is a perfect example. I always buy. I
I buy
care
generic
about name
all the
brand.
time.
You
Yeah.
buy plain wrap beer?
I've done that before in my college days.
Well, that ship sailed about 40 years ago.
Yeah.
But
Plain wrap tequila.
you can't.
Certain things you can't go generic
You
on.
can't tell the difference between stovetop and generic stuffing. I guarantee you can.
Greg,
Is that right?
could you go?
So interesting.
Tell me more, Paul. Could you go plain wrap tequila in a bar? No. I know you.
Perhaps
you don't drink
I
a lot
could.
of tequila, but you drink tequila.
Okay.
You're a connoisseur.
Well, the third
Guilty.
or fourth.
If you had old Fed Cal,
Yeah.
old Save-On versus...
Oh my
Yeah.
God. But
right.
Howie's right. The third or fourth tequila, you don't care.
Not at that point. No, not at that
You're on
point.
3 or 4.
great-
We're not talking about.
we'll put this chart up to bigbizshow.com. Mary, do that for us,
I'm
please.
taking it.
And then also the rocket thing. We'll figure out how we...
Yeah, rocket's awesome.
I'm taking this with my kids.
All right, very good. More Big Biz Show coming up. Stand by. Don't forget the coffee.
In over 175 countries and all the ships at sea, as always, to you brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces listening on American Forces Network. Thank you for what you've done for us. Costa, Marybird Godwin, Greg Todorov, Mr. Swatch himself, Sully.
It's a Breitling. It's a Breitling.
A Breitling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Watch it.
Nice.
Very nice.
You like the watch, Dan?
I think you can cook an egg on it.
Well, it also doubles as a seat at a golf tournament.
Well, if you're ever driving down the
Not for
street.
I'm a doctor. My name is Hugh Jazz. Can I say this? Our new motto is, our motto used to be stop helping. Because don't, like, you know, Mary, right? Just stop helping. Just let us do everything. I think our new motto should be settle for less. Right, Mike?
Yep.
My wife did, so you might as well. Yeah, sure, certainly.
God, you're so quick
Let's
on
celebrate.
How many?
Quick.
self-deprecation.
How old is the little one, Mike?
He's 253 months old. Yeah, mediocrity is the new.
Is that 21
We
years old?
celebrate
Is that
mediocrity around
We do.
How many months old are Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, and
Months? Now you're asking me to do math.
Well-
years, I can tell you.
Dan Negroni, of course, speaker, CEO, coach, consultant, chief launch officer, and author of the heaviest book on the planet, Seeking Relevance. It's when Danny and I met each other. Dan was an attorney. He was also a mentor of mine, and a huge pain in the ass because he made me be accountable to myself. At the same time, you're the first guy I ever heard say, you know, X amount of percent of our workforce is going to be millennial in the next 5 years, and you better giddy up and realize and deal with how to use them. That number has
They're
They're here.
oldest is
They are.
45.
right.
I mean, hello, for millennials, yeah.
Wait,
Are you-
seriously?
Yeah, 1980.
That's
Oh
you.
my
Gonna
God.
be 45.
It's not me. I wish, but it's not.
You were
Definitely
born in
not me.
1940. Sorry. So my question is this. I think the most interesting thing about this is that, yes, the people that are looking at their Faded Hope and Change poster in the bedroom are one thing, but what about the corporations that have to really deal differently with that generation that they had
I'm
before?
going to
That's
use
a
a
big deal.
technical term here. They're screwed.
Yep.
I think they
Because you can't slap them around like you used to in the 50s, right? Like
Exactly.
Dan.
I think, you know, there's a big challenge with, we did not prepare them for the road. We made the road kind of soft and easy for them, particularly this Gen Z generation, you know, those that are 29-ish.
That's you, Mary. You're Gen
Yeah,
Z.
29 to about 19. Gen Z, it's tough in the workplace. And our parenting was soft.
Have you noticed?
Really soft.
Because we have kids the same age. Have you noticed? My kids were, the minute that they, because they don't get perspective unless you sign the front of a paycheck. I've always said, when they started having taxes taken out of their wages, that was a tipping point. Like that, they turned conservative or at least independent at that point. Have you noticed that with your children when suddenly?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, where you're not paying for it and they're paying, for sure. There's a
didn't say
very
they're off
big
the payroll.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a very big difference.
So you've talked about soft parenting.
Yeah.
Is it? We met the enemy. It's us. Like remember this. Hey, it's okay. Girls.
1000%.
I just heard two examples
Yes.
when I sat down in this very seat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I had a
for
BB
sure.
gun and a big wheel. And it's like, it's like unless there's a hissing chest wound, nobody's going to come see me.
Totally.
Yeah,
But with our kids, I swear to God, I was like, I'm still worried about them. I got them on Find My.
Life 360.
Wow,
still do?
that's dangerous.
No, they won't let me.
Yeah. Well, for girls,
I think they
that
get
are
abducted.
dating,
They're,
for sure. I think, look, we've been pretty soft on them. They don't want to be traumatized by the truth.
No.
Which is you got to get up, make phone calls,
Right.
do emails,
Right.
do the hard work.
Yeah.
Does that translate to there's lesser of a work ethic? Because we hire a bunch of, we call them the kids.
Actually, I think they have a fairly decent work ethic. If you give them a guide and you tell them what to do, they can do that super well at a super deep level. The problem is they have no awareness relative to self and how do I do better? And how do I color outside the lines?
Well, it's thinking for themselves, right? Didn't we
Right.
talk about that last time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going through it right now with a senior applying to college.
Are they mouthy and they got a little lippy?
Mouthy, lippy,
Wonder
just
where
like
they
they're
got-
me,
wonder
they're
where they got-
mini-me's.
Wonder where they got that from, Mary?
Right.
Well, I don't think they're mouthy and lippy. Here's what they are: is scared.
They're sleepy and
They're scared. We haven't really taught them what they need to do to stand up for themselves and how to articulate it, how to make phone calls. We haven't forced the issue.
But is it too late to stuff the genie back in the bottle? I mean, how do you do that when? I mean, like with your 5,500.
253-month-old?
Yeah, how do you
Well,
do
no, I want to punch myself in the face on a daily basis.
Same.
Just because, and you can't, or because I'm like, you said it perfectly. You wanted to make the road soft. Put your helmet on. Here, put these bumpers on. So if you fall over,
Don't play in the street.
Do you know who does
when a
do
car's
that?
coming
You know who does
towards
do
you?
that? My best friend in the whole world, Greg Todoroff, who has Bam Bam as a young man, who's going to be a linebacker, a pro surfer.
well, he's learning from
But you
Marmot.
don't. But you don't.
Well, you know what? You're kind of right, Mike.
Do you soft
Yeah.
it though?
Well, I see. No, not at all. Not
Oh, he
one
hooks
bit.
them up
No, because
without
I'm a Gen Xer that had two older brothers, so
got the
that's my
bruises.
style that I've adopted.
And Greg
more or
has a
less,
special sippy cup.
But at the same
Is what,
time,
tough love?
is tough, and
I mean, I'm tough too.
And I'm not strict. I love to give them freedom. I love for them to go out and do their thing and explore and develop as the way, I think they should.
Right.
But every once in a while you have to reel them back in.
Yeah.
But I will say what I've witnessed, being a parent of a 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, what I've witnessed, there's a style out there that I just do not subscribe to. And it's just a matter of time before it's going to backfire.
It didn't help that I bought them both.
Right?
It didn't help that I bought them both a drum kit. Hey, Uncle
Dan,
Uncle
my
Sully's
question
here.
is, what does the ambition scale look like for
great
these
question.
generations?
I mean, you're a professor. You're standing in front
I'm
of
a
them.
professor. I mean, tonight I'll have 40 of them. They are ambitious. They want to achieve things, but they are not as goal-oriented as what the study shows is they're not as goal-oriented as our generation was. And they're much more, let's see kind of how it goes and how it feels, which is not horrible if you can coach that and really tell them what they may not want to hear. And that's the biggest issue.
If you were to say in 1970 that a young person would just do what they require, not what they want, it would be you slacker. But that's different now because I think we bet the enemy, and it is us. We're sort of part of the problem. And my concern is, how do corporations sort of get them through that tunnel of extended adolescence?
Yeah, so basically, give me the list, I'll do what it says and not a thing more. But we know that the way to success is to do a lot more.
Yeah.
And to figure it out and to be helpful and provide value.
Not wait to be asked,
And
but
not
to
wait to be
actually
asked and do that.
preemptively do it. You
think-
always talk about this is reading the room and thinking, what should I be doing right now?
I like to read the room, and then it just comes to my head, and I just vomit it out without thinking.
But I mean, walking and being
And you paid for
proactive,
it.
proactivity, being proactive and actually not just doing what's on the list.
Can I say this? I'm very encouraged about my daughters being able to be leaders.
Yeah.
Although they all represent all of the what you're talking about here.
I think the challenge is we've not really been honest with them. And we've not really kind of told them the truth about when they do something that steps out
Girls
or
still think
wrong
they're
or
Santa.
different.
They think, what are you doing?
There's not. What do you mean there's not?
There's no Santa.
Well, another issue is because we gave them trophies for everything. Hey,
There we go.
I walked to class today.
true.
Oh my God, here's your medal.
True story.
Mike Trump rally Costa.
Well,
No, but we just talked about it, celebrating mediocrity.
Yeah.
Celebrating
Yeah.
when you
It's a long climb to the middle.
It is a very long climb to the middle, but
That's
when you
why we
set
make
the
the
bar
medium
low,
bucks.
I don't
you're not doing them any favors.
Professor Dan Negroni, CEO, coach, consultant, chief launch officer, and of course his book, Chasing Relevance. Find him at dannegroni.com. What a hell of a keynote speaker. And the guy's got an 8-pack. I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm not messing with him.
Big Biz Show. Loft 100 Studios, the Big Biz Show, and our affiliates and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any person, or that an investment in such securities will be profitable in general.
Given the nature of the company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for the securities, investing is highly speculative and carries a certain high degree of risk.
We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its hosts for the profile coverage.
From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stocks if we are speaking about interviewing or covering a public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer at sullygroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully and read the investor information available at the websites on the
Securities and Exchange Commission at sec.gov and or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
I like it.
Hey, is that a rescue plane?
In over 175 countries, all the ships at sea on the American Forces Network. As always, we salute the brave men and women of our United States Armed Forces for what they do, what they have done for us. Coming to you live from the Loft 100 Studios here in Southern California. I am Costa. That is Marybird Godwin. That man right there is Greg Todorov.
Hello.
And of course, the man behind the bar, as always, it's Sully.
There you go. Greg got a call from a shareholder of a company called Cingulate.
That's right.
What's the ticker symbol on that again?
CING.
Saying you got to talk to this guy, Shane Schaffer. It could be Schaefer, but nobody put the pronunciation on there, Greg. Mr. Executive Producer. So we're just going to call him Schaffer. He could be saying it wrong. It's Schaffer, but if he says Schaefer, we're just going to say he's saying it wrong.
Feeling it's Schaefer.
He is the CEO and chairman of Cingulate, and of course, Cingulate.com is our website. That's with a C. Maybe we can show that website up there in a second here. But Dr. Shane Schaffer, life-changing work that's worth the wait. This is about ADHD. Okay?
Listening. Attention
Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. That's a difference, Mary. I think you're ADD. I don't think you're ADHD. I think shut up. I'm ADHD. Can I tell you a story? When I was married, my wife at the time bought a book called Driven to Distraction. And she goes, I think this is you. And there's like the big 10 commandments of ADD, like falls asleep while reading, interrupts, snaps judgment. So she gives me the book and I start reading the book and I'm like, oh my God, I could have changed. Well, Roger, for example, I could have said Sully. Like every single name
was you.
I'm all those things too.
Bring in the doctor.
Bring him in.
Dr. Schaffer? See? Hey, hold on, I'm talking to you. By the way, first of all, is it Schaffer or Schaefer?
It's Schaefer, but call me Shane.
You're saying
who have you ever met named Schaffer?
Stop interrupting. You're saying it wrong. He's like going, I've got a case study here that's going to Harvard eventually.
We do have the perfect ADHD news here, I tell you. This is great.
Can I tell you something? I've named it the bug because I think I have it under control in so much that I don't think I could work a mixing board and a soundboard, have notes on you, have a camera here, a microphone, people in studio, and you on Zoom without sort of having that sort of bug that I call it, if you can tame that bug. But maybe I could, you're the doctor.
You're describing it perfectly, actually.
Yeah.
No, you're describing it perfectly. I mean, there's three components to it: inattentiveness, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. As you think of kids, you think of that little boy, right, who probably encompasses all three of those elements. You take the younger female or the little girl, they oftentimes don't have the impulsivity or hyperactivity. But then now let's move into adulthood. And look, I know I have a little bit of ADHD, but if you look at adulthood, That impulsivity can sometimes still be there where you interrupt people. The hyperactivity typically is gone by then.
Hey, Shane, hold on a second. I'm buying a car right now.
I was joking around. I go, squirrel.
Yeah, he said, no, it's true. I have
there
to ask,
might be a squirrel over here, so yeah.
So what did you call this the genesis of Cingulate? How is that found? What is it, first of all? How is it founded? How has it evolved, so on and so forth?
Yeah, so the company started with me and two other guys. So Dr. Raul Silva, Dr. Matthew Brahms, these are two of the most preeminent key opinion leaders in ADHD. And I had the good fortune of, while I was at Novartis, working with these guys. And fast forward now to 2013, we're at a barbecue, July 4th, at Dr. Silva's house. And it could have been the perfect mixture of Coors Light and barbecue, but those guys were lamenting the fact that ADHD, we've been treating it for 60 years at the time, now 70 years, with the two same medications, Adderall, amphetamines, and methylphenidates like Ritalin and Concerta. And the problem has been, and it still is, there's no medication out there that lasts the entire active day. And that's what our goal is. Our goal is to provide a medication that has a fast onset, lasts the entire active day, no booster doses needed, and simply put, as we sat there around the barbecue, was, let's do this. Why don't we solve this problem? So when I named the company Cingulate, it's because in the prefrontal cortex, that's where your cingulate gyrus is. And the anterior cingulate is where all of your executive function occurs. And that was the beginning of Cingulate Therapeutics. And now we're public, the ticker CING, right? So we've come a long way. But our goal is really, we want to build the best product for patients and providers and make it something that payers want to reimburse for.
Dr. Shane Schaffer, Chairman, CEO, Cingulate, their ticker symbol CING. Shane, when it comes to little kids with ADHD and ADD, things like that, do their brains shut off at night when they sleep, or are they constantly on the hamster wheel?
It's a great point, great question. So it depends on the patient, number one, and it depends on the severity of the disorder. So again, mild ADHD, the first thing I always say, and by the way, I'm a pharmacist by training, but I've been in ADHD for, 25 years now, and work with some of the top psychs. So I call it a pseudo psych, but not an MD. But the fact is, our doctors talk about this all the time. The mind of an ADHD patient never turns off. And that's why when you look at our pharmacokinetic profile, the way we've designed our medication is so there's a little bit of stimulant in the body still, in the blood system, which has the ability to help that ADHD patient get to rest, to get to sleep. You don't want blood levels, at midnight, but 8, 7, 8, 9 in the evening, low blood levels will do exactly what you're talking about and help that brain turn off.
Hey, let me ask you. Let me ask you a question about that, because I know, it's something that I have slayed the dragon so much, and I think over the years I've gotten better at it because you have to actively kill the little black head that the monster in Men in Black that pops up. You have to shoot him down every once in a while.
Right.
But I will tell you, I've struggled with sleep my whole life, and I'm assuming, because I'm not on any medication for ADHD. When I took Ritalin as an adult, I felt like it was prescription grade speed. I wanted a couple beers. It was not a good thing. It was like, hey, this feels pretty good. It shouldn't feel this good. And I know what it's supposed to do is it does the opposite to folks with ADHD or ADD when you have a stimulant like that. Is there a tie-in with your drug potentially, not only with ADHD, but other maladies, like for sleep, for example?
So just had a conversation with a very well-renowned insomnia expert, ironically, last week. This guy has done amazing work in the insomnia category. So if you're like me, Sully, here's me. I can get to sleep okay.
Me too.
But 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, boom, I'm up. I got to turn on Frasier or, embarrassingly, Matlock or something.
Are you? Wait a second.
Love those old
This isn't the new Matlock either. This is the old one.
My mom was in the Fall Asleep in Front of Matlock Club. And by the way, me and Mike and Greg, not Greg, me and Mike, by 11 o'clock we're on our second pee. So 1 o'clock. This is why Bloomberg doesn't put us on prime time. But yes, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock is, and I just want to go.
It's the worst feeling.
Because being in television and radio my entire career, 4:30 is okay. 4:30, 5 o'clock. But if I wake up at 2, it's 9 times out of 10 done. Miserable. It's miserable. Yeah. So I'm glad you have that. On from the Loft 100 studios. Sunny Southern California. Hope everyone's having a great day. Thank you for being along with us on this fine program. I'm Costa, Marybird Godwin, Greg Todorov, and of course Sully. And we'd be remiss if we didn't recognize the DTT. Oh wow, jeez.
Look at him. Look at him.
Look who's taking over. Hey, the body's still warm over here, pal. Yeah. It's Mike Costa's business program. Thank you for calling.
A large financial program.
So I do a number of keynote speeches. I can tell you, if I didn't have to look at, they always give you a stage prompter that's about 500 yards back, and it's usually a big screen, and you got this little thing in your pocket, and you're doing this.
Yeah.
And what it is, kind of prompts you to go to the next thing, like whatever the next thing is.
Sure.
But if you had it in your glasses,
oh baby,
or if you're speed dating, hi, Mary. I mean, like, honestly, I believe that our life would change if you had prompts, just bullet points. Almost as part of it, I just ate something on the break, but if you had bullet points, all right, what TV show? Oh, hold on, I gotta make a phone call. Hang on, I gotta make a phone call right now. If you had prompts, do you think that you would react better to things like road rage? Or things like you'd suffer people that walked to the front of the Starbucks line and said, who should all be in jail? Would you react better to everyday life if you had, like, stay calm, I'm just talking about every day. Well, I am such a believer in these wearables. Paul Travers, of course, CEO, president of Vuzix, stock symbol VUZI. They are not in the business of teaching you to calm down at Starbucks. They're in the business of using these glasses in a business space, in an AR space. But he joins us once again. Paul, good to see you, man. How are you?
I'm good, Sully, and you?
Oh, yeah.
You know what? Hey, Kenny Rogers, when's your next show?
Yes.
You get handsomer every time. Can I ask you something? When you guys put the technology in these things, do you put as much time into the design? Because I look at Greg's glasses, and I like the cut of his jib, mister. I mean, you're not just putting...
Look good, don't they?
They're not just glasses. You got a good design team as well.
Yes, we do. They're top notch. They've been doing this for years. In fact, some of these guys have come out of the industrial design groups at some of the larger firms that we all know and love. The brands like, the Luxottica brands and the types.
Hey, catch us up on what's happening recently, because obviously there's a huge addressable market here. You guys are continuing the technology, and you're starting to take some of the market share. What's happening?
Yeah, well, we announced maybe in CES a year ago, this pair here, the ones that look exactly like a pair of sunglasses.
Yeah.
These do that prompt thing, Sully, just like you were talking about. Not just that, they tie into AI, so you can ask, you can get information along the way, you can cross-check to see if somebody's telling the facts and the truth or not. All that sort of stuff is just available.
Can you ask it
Wait
to
a second.
identify a song?
It's got a built-in BS detector? That's fantastic. So listen, and look, I look at these things from a media standpoint. You don't need a teleprompter anymore. If you had clear glasses, you could use that.
Right.
But you have medical indications. You've got warehouse indications where it basically you look at a box in a Costco. It'll tell you how many boxes you have, how much is in that box, and it helps you track inventory. I mean, the uses are endless on this thing.
Yes, it's 100% correct. But where it really gets exciting is when you look at the broader markets. And the broader markets won't wear a pair of glasses like the ones you're seeing here. They're designed to go to work, frontline workers, healthcare, those kinds of places. These glasses here that I was wearing just a moment ago, they have these things called waveguides in them. So when you put them on, even though there's no visible display, what you see is like the fighter pilot's cockpit floating out in front of you, all of that information, and it disappears in the glasses because of these things called waveguides. The broader markets, it's going to start the size of smartwatch. That's 300 million smartwatches a year that are sold today. Oh, wow. For Vuzix, that represents significant business. It's $40 a waveguide, and you need a pair of them for a pair of glasses. We have a partnership that we just announced maybe a month plus ago with a firm called Quanta. They're a $50 billion ODM supplier, probably one of the largest on the planet today. And what that means is they manufacture the devices that other brands put their name on. For instance, the smartwatch from Apple, Quanta develops and help manufacture that for Apple.
Okay, Paul, when you release it, I think we talked to you either the next day or the same day. And what my question is now is, are you starting to see the fruits of that relationship, or is that down the road a bit, or is it?
The final Consumer Electronics Show should be a lot of fun. We're in development of a bunch of cool new stuff with them right now, and it's opened up a lot of other doors. I've been living on the West Coast talking with companies. My development team has been working on next generation products around our waveguides and the Quanta relationship to help enable a lot of different products that 2025 should see the beginnings of the rollouts. And it's the beginnings of this whole, how do you get to millions of glasses on an annual basis.
Paul Travers, the CEO, president of Vuzix, their ticker symbol VUZI. Paul, you said a couple minutes ago the word cockpit. Has Uncle Sam reached out to you about military applications for these? Because I can only see there's about 1 billion of them when you're talking about people in combat, that type of thing.
Yes, in cockpits, inside of tanks. There's all kinds of places where the glasses and or the waveguide technology that we build is very applicable to defense. And there's 3 or 4 companies that we have active programs going on in the defense space right now.
Hey, Paul, when we had the glasses on, we were testing when you were in the studio, there was a medical thing where you could look at the patient and tell you their blood pressure and their heart rate and so on and so forth. Is that intended for surgical suites? What is the intended use, and how vast is that information where you can customize that on the glasses?
Yeah, I mean, the pair to my left, or to my right here, these guys are used right now in that very same kind of condition. There's Bluetooth connectivity, there's wired connectivities. You can stream out of the glasses broadcast quality video, so you can be doing an open heart surgery and share with others how to do that open heart surgery. And from a training perspective, if you're not an expert on a particular operation, while you're doing the operation, a doctor sitting in a nice air-conditioned office halfway around the world can log in, see what you're seeing, and help you and support you.
We got to get you back in studio, Paul, and thank you so much. And once again, I got to tell you, can you imagine walking around with some cool shades like that, and all of a sudden he goes, oh, hi, Sully. I knew you were there the whole time, as you get the whole background to somebody.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and the number of times you forget who it is.
Yes.
And it can even be embarrassing.
I wanted for lyrics.
Or identifying songs. Yeah.
This will be.
I want to see him on the football field for a head coach or coaches. Instead of having to go to the pad, it's just like.
I want it for vocabulary.
And Negroni, we have an entire generation that needs these just so you can put little
prompts. Because you can prompt it.
Do this next.
Yeah, right.
Then do this.
Go to the bathroom.
Go here.
Mike wants it for drink recipes. Is it creme de menthe or is it Galliano? I should put in my Harvey Wallbanger.
Creme de menthe.
Big
Harvey
show.
Wallbanger. Where did that come from?
Boy, it was before your time, lady. It's when Tom Jones was
the most random reference.
When Tom Jones was the panty dropper.
That's right.
Engelbert Humperdinck and Charlie Rich.
Charlie Rich.
And when we get